Let's give it all we've got. All right.
Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're having an awesome day. And today we're going to skate on through and see what Karina and Lucario have in store for us today. We're going to go through her kit. We're going to go through a couple of builds for her as well. It's actually new and improved. There's a couple of sneaky nodes in there I didn't know. And also just how to unlock her and max her out to get the most out of your Karina or Lucario. If you like, timestamps down below if you want to skip to anywhere in particular. But without further ado, let's get into it. So how do we unlock her? Well, it's actually quite simple. We just go to the main story. We go to the PML arc, and it's already there. Beautiful. We go to Chapter 6, A Telling Aura. We click that one, and a newfound confidence. Once we finish that mission, we're going to unlock our 3-star Karina and Lucario, which means it's going to be very easy to max her out and get some big fighting damage out. So because she's a 3-star unit, it's actually very simple to level her up. We just need to use those 3-star strike candies as you do a lot of events in Pokemon Masters. If you do the Battle Challenge Round 1 in a lot of the constant events that they're sending out, sometimes you can get a 3-star strike candy, max her out that way. Definitely want to get her at least 3 out of 5 to get all the nodes and stuff, but 5 out of 5 you get a 6-star, so you can up the damage of her sync move and really start hitting hard. And she is a striker unit, which makes sense for a fighting type, so she's fighting, Kalos, a gym leader, and also a passionate spirit because she loves a battle. And with her kit, she does have a lot of ways to increase her speed, her crit rate, and also her attack, which is pretty nice. And her Lucario can Mega Evolve into a Mega Lucario, getting a little bit of extra attack and speed there, which is nice, and replacing one of her moves. We'll go through her base kit first, and then we'll do Power Up Punch afterwards. First up is Vacuum Wave. There's not really much to say here. It's a special move, so it's not super helpful. She's a physical striker, so it's pretty much just one of those moves that just gets replaced with Power Up Punch, and then you forget that you even had it. Dire Hit will raise the user's crit rate by 1 stat rank. This isn't a Dire Hit Plus. It's only just 1 stat rank each, so you get a +2 crit. Can get a refresh, but +2 is still not too bad. Close Combat, which is your big physical damaging move, the move that you'll just be constantly using to get some damage on the enemy. It will lower your defense and your special defense by 1 stat rank, but there are ways to kind of counteract that, which we'll go through in the kit and the lucky skills. And Skate On Through will raise your attack by 1 stat rank and will raise your speed by 3 stat ranks. So even after just using this twice, you get a max speed and a +2 attack, which isn't too bad. And when you Mega Evolve into Mega Lucario, you will get Power Up Punch, which is a single target 2-bar move that will raise your attack every time you use it. So it's a good way to max out your attack, get as much damage out as possible, which is pretty nice. And for a sync move, give it all you got, Power Up Punch. The only bonus here is that you're going to Mega Evolve into Mega Lucario until the end of battle. And then if you 6-star EX her, because she's a striker unit, it's going to hit everyone on the team for some big fighting damage. And with her passive skills, she only has one, which is Unflappable, which means she can't be flinched, which is pretty handy. If they try to flinch you or stun you in any way, you just kind of shake it off and keep the damage coming out. And for her lucky skills, there's a couple of roads you can skate down depending on what you need her to do. If you're using her as like your Sync Nuke striker, your main damage dealer, Critical Strike 2 is definitely the way to go. She can up her own crit, big damage on your sync move, big damage on close combat. Just get the damage out, that's all you need. If you're worried about the defense drops and you're using her as kind of like an off-striker unit, Enlightenment 9 could come in handy. Will mitigate any lowered stats and the reduction of that stat. So instead, you will have -6 defense, but your defense will essentially not change. And for our sync grids, there's a couple of ways you can kind of build it. We've got basically like a 6-star sync nuka build and then like a 5-star just generic striker build. So for a 6-star sync nuka build, just focusing on sync move damage and close combat, as you see, every node for our sync move here, these 3 over here, you unlock these right off the bat, 1 out of 5, and they cost 0 energy, extra 90 damage on your sync move. Worst case scenario, pick them up, get the extra damage on your sync move, your Mega Revolver, get the extra damage bonus, a little bit of extra damage, which is nice, and it's free. You may as well take it, you know? Close Combat Move Gauge Refresh. It is a 3-bar move, and even though we can max out our speed, it's a lot to rely on to make sure we can keep the moves coming out. So getting that extra bar back with Move Gauge Refresh should come in pretty handy. Skate On Through Berserker 1. This will just add a +1 attack onto your Skate On Through, so you'll get a +4 attack when you use both of those nodes. You won't really need to get an MP refresh on it then, or get that chance to. Relying on chance isn't really ideal, so getting this constant attack up is going to be nice, and then we can max it out with Power Up Punch, which shouldn't be a problem. I used to run Skate On Through MP Refresh, but I've just taken that out, gotten a couple of extra close combat damage nodes, and then we've just completely missed it and gone right up to status quo 3. 40% chance to return your lowered stats to normal whenever this move is successful. When you use close combat, you will lower your defense and special defense. This will reset it back to 0, so then you won't have any lowered stats at all. If you have raised stats, it won't really do anything because they're going to be over 0. But if they're in the negatives, then this will just return them to 0, which is nice. And for a 5-star build, it's pretty much the same as the 6-star one, just not focusing too much on sync move damage. We still got these 3 nodes. As I said, you can Mega Revolver, get the extra attack bonus, extra damage out. May as well use it, you know. Extra close combat power nose, just to increase the damage of close combat there. Skate on through Berserker, same reason we get the extra +1 attack. It's not too bad just to max it out pretty early. And then close combat move gauge refresh, for the obvious reason we're using close combat. Big damage output, that's what we kind of need. Skate on through MP refresh. If you want, you could take this off and just throw it onto the die hit one, just to max out your crit rate, guarantee it. But I think it's like 80% anyway, so I wouldn't really worry too much about getting it. Like a 4 in 5 chance of hitting a crit, that's still pretty good, you know? But if you really want to max it out, you don't really need to skate on through. Just max out your attack with Power Up Punch and we'll call it a day. And Status Quo, for the same kind of reason, whenever you're using it, you're going to be lowering your stats, so make sure you can just keep those stats at least at normal. That way you won't be losing any defenses at least, which should come in pretty handy. And moving on to the honorable mentions, which is just all the nodes that I didn't pick and why I didn't pick them. We completely skipped this arm up here because we're not going to be using Vacuum Wave. It's a guaranteed bar back, which is nice, but once you Mega Evolve, you just lose every bonus you get with Vacuum Wave because it gets replaced with Power Up Punch. And speaking of Power Up Punch, yeah, you will probably use it. You'll use it twice to max out your attack, and then you swap over to close combat and deal some extra damage. Why put the extra energy in for a move you're going to use twice, you know? Boiling Point 6, which is going to give you a +6 attack the first time you're in a pinch every battle. The problem with this one is that means that you have to be losing attack or not upping your own attack at that point for it to even come in handy. If they can, like, essentially one-shot you but leave you on 1 health, sure, but then they hit you again with another move and then you're knocked out, so why even put the effort in, you know? Stamina reserves, kind of the same idea as the other one. You have to be in a pinch. Essentially, you need to guarantee that you have Endure on Karina, and she can't really give that to herself, and there's not a lot of units that can kind of give that to her pretty easily. And also, all it is it just gives you 6 move gauge. You have maxed out speed. You have move gauge refresh on a lot of your moves. I don't know why I'd even put the effort into this one anyway. And power reserves 5. Out of all of them, this is probably the most useful one because it will just power up your moves. But also remember, it's only your moves. It won't up your sync move damage, which is going to be very annoying. So your close combat's really the only thing that's going to be improved here. And even when that does come in, you're in a pinch, they're probably going to knock you out in the next move anyway, so why even put the effort in here? It's 10 energy. That's a lot of energy to put in for something you're going to use barely at all. Fierce Entry 1, you could make an argument for this one just to get that extra +1 attack, but as I said, Power Up Punch, you just use it twice, get the extra attack bonuses there. Why would you need the extra 1 attack? I suppose if you want to deal a lot of damage right away, but it's only a +1 attack, you can build up to that pretty easily. And then Mad Strength, kind of the same thing. It's a 50% chance to get the extra attack bonus here. So last thing you need is to use it once, use it twice, and then you get the Mad Strength bonus there when you're already at +6. It's just not really worth it. And that's it for the Karina and Lucario Sync Grid guide. Thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Let me know down below if I gave you some build ideas, and also let me know down below if you knew those extra 3 power-up nodes for a sync move were there, because I'm pretty sure they only just added them, or I really need to pay more attention. As you see, there's a lot of ways that she can up her attack, her crit, and her speed, which is all you need to do a lot of damage with your sync move. The only problem being, because it's a Mega Evolution, it will do a little bit less damage, but still, big moves with that, big moves with close combat, and being able to keep your defenses up even with close combat can come in pretty handy. But until then, have an awesome one all, and I'll see you in the next one.